Hi, this is Lauren from LSP Actions, and in this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to use the LSP Color Change palette to change the colour of a dress in this maternity shot. I'm going to be using several different techniques here to create some stunning results. In this video tutorial I'm going to move quite fast, assuming you've already watched the startup and the full-length video tutorials. If not, you can go ahead and watch those over on the LSP Actions website at www.lspactions.com and click on video tutorials. So let's get started. First of all, I'm just going to go straight in and decide which colour we're going to use, and then I'm going to make a selection of the dress. So I think for this one I'm going to go in the earthy and muted section and play teal. Using a low flow brush, I'm just going to go and start painting this on just to make sure that I think that's the right colour, which, yeah, I really like that colour for this dress. So now I'm going to refine this selection a little bit more. You can either use the subject selection for CC or manual, which you can watch video tutorial number 4 to see how that one works. I'm going to go show you another way. I'm going to select the background, come up here onto wand and use the quick selection tool, and I'm just going to drag this over the dress areas. This is quite good if you've got an area that's kind of at a high contrast to the background. If the colour you're trying to select is pretty much the same colour as the background, you may run into a few little issues when using this. For example, here it's a similar tone to the skin, so I'm going to use Alt, hold down Alt to deselect that bit. So you can see I'm just kind of rubbing this around, and the same for this section here. Now I'm not surprised that this is selecting skin as well, because it is very, very similar toned. But that's okay, because I'm going to use another couple of methods to make the selection even better. But I'm just getting something rough right now. This can sometimes take a little while of clicking and alt-clicking just to when you're zoomed in, as Photoshop learns what it is you're trying to select and what you're not trying to select. So you can see here now I've selected all of the dress but not the skin tones. And that was done manually. You can do this via masking, you can do it via the pen tool, you could do it using the actions that are included within the set. There are so many ways to create a mask. And once you have your mask, this means it's going to be a lot easier to paint on the colour, because you can simply wash this over like this. So you can see I've selected the dress but not the skin tones, and I'm simply brushing this over. Now I'm not going to be too fussy about the edges, because I'm actually going to be leaving those in the kind of the yellow tone. But I think I'm going to paint that on, and then that's going to give me more options for colour changing in just a little while. At this point I recommend zooming in and just making sure that the colour change has gone well. So using a low opacity brush, I'm just going to mask that hair a little bit there. And just tidying up any areas that look a little bit odd. And now I have the mask, I'm going to work on this colour a little bit more. I want a little bit more of a greeny tone. So what I'm going to do, because the natural one is a kind of a gold, I'm just going to bring that down a touch. Because of course this bluey green and the gold together are going to make a greeny tone. Like that. And now we have the mask ready to use with other colour changes too if we want to. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to duplicate that and call it mask in case I need to use that one again. So now what I want to do is paint off some of the edging here so it looks like the dress is almost dip-dyed. So I'm going to grab a blue brush, a kind of a low to medium flow, and I'm just going to start taking off some of the edges here. So you can see we're creating this kind of two-tone effect. So anywhere where the fabric edges, I'm just painting this on. And I'm going to use a black brush to paint it off any of the kind of the interlocking areas. So now we have almost a two-tone effect there with this orange original gold showing through and the teal over. So now we're going to make a few adjustments just to make that a little bit more punchy. coming down here to the Colour Tweaks brush, and I'm going to use Darken here. And what that will do is allow me to paint a darker toning onto this colour, which I'm just going to use around the back here. It's added a little more intensity there to it. And then down here in the the finishing section, there's me running over it. I'm going to pay a little bit more contrast over the whole image, but I'm going to use a black brush which has already been selected for me, just to take this off this area of light here coming in. Now we already have this mask that we've made. This is going to make it really easy to change different colours if you wanted to. So for example, let's go for something bold and different. How about I don't know, how about Coral Reef? And because we already have the mask here, I can just simply control click this to bring up the mask, which I can use to paint on, or alt drag to replace the mask. And you can see that's given us an entirely different colour. Or you can use the mask that we used with a little bit of fading on to replace that one there. So two lovely effects. Now that we already have this mask selected, you can use the other actions to create other colours in your image if you wanted to. For example, you can use any of the colours that are pre-made for you, or you can choose your own. Like up here we've got manual slide for colour. A little box of instructions pop up saying that the hue and saturation box that you're going to see is set to colorize. So I'm looking at the dress here. You can simply slide this until you're happy with the tone for your image. You can also increase the saturation, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. This is a really nice, 25% is a nice level. If you want the colour really bold, you can slide that. As for the lightness, I'd leave that exactly where it is. Now we can simply select the mask that we've already made here on the mask layer and use that to change the colour we've just chosen. Or you can use the teal mask, which has the fades in it. And how about we use a different colour instead of yellow for the fade? I'll show you how to do that because that's really cool. Now because the mask, this purple mask here is already on top, we just need to work underneath. So let's play a colour change. How about Minty Fresh? Now I'm going to drag this down underneath your colour layer here, but above the original image. I'm going to simply drag and drop this mask. And you can see now we've changed the yellow and the purple is still there. If I was to take the purple off, the whole thing is green. So that's a really cool way of adding a two-tone effect to your dresses and fabrics or any other layers in Photoshop using the colour palette there. Many techniques you can use. The actions create the colours for you. You can decide how you would like to mask and paint those on and which techniques you're going to use. You can see I'm just playing with the colours. You could always do something completely different. Let me select that. How about we change the purple to just a full selection of the dress. And now with that still selected, I'm going to select a really big white brush and just start fading this green in from the back here. So that's also another really cool effect you could do. And you can do that for all sorts of different colours. Complementary colours work really cool, like kind of opposites. So for example, let's go for blue and yellow. So I'm going to play blue in the bold and yellow meadow. And I'm just going to replace that layer mask with the fade and the blue layer mask with the original purple. And now you can see we've got this really cool faded effect. Or you could go all one colour, entirely up to you. The set is just too much fun to play with. Have a blue fading in from the back there. And you could also use this to change the background, to change accessories, even to paint fingernails. Everything you want to do with this set is here. You can change colours manually. It has a selection for you. You can change the bold colours, earthy, muted. You can change white. If you watch video number 3, that shows you how to change white using this action set. You have the colour tweak brushes, the white tweak brushes, actions to adapt a little more for skin tones if you wanted to adapt the skin for if you've lightened up the image, or for warmer colours when you're going from warm to cool, for example. And then you have finish overlay washes, which you can add that affect your whole image. For example, brighten there, add a matte effect to the whole image. They're just a nice little bonus section to finish off with. And a vignette which will darken those edges in. So there are some really cool effects with the dress using the Color Palette action set. That's the original there. Using teal, coral, your own tones of colours here. Mixing and matching those in. So many fun things you can do. And the Color Palette is available at www.lsp-actions.com, and you can also watch the full video tutorials over there. I'm Lauren, thanks for watching.